I'm Judy Griffin with Aroma Health Texas, and today we're going to talk about the causes of inflammation and make two different blends to work with that. We've talked about essences being anti-inflammatory, but we didn't really go into what causes that. And inflammation can cause psycho-emotional problems, they can cause physical problems, they can cause personality problems, and it's caused by the body's lowered or inability to actually activate circulation and put energy into the blood. In Oriental medicine, they call it chi or ki. It's what moves the blood is where the deficiency is here. And it also controls and completes digestion and absorption. That is a problem, as we talked about before, with illness of any kind. It starts in the stomach, and it's not just what you eat, it's what you absorb. You can eat anything, and if you don't absorb it, then it's not going to help you. There's an inability to nurture yourself through this process, and that makes the connective tissue have a problem. It keeps you from achieving deep levels of undisturbed sleep and to control and express pent-up feelings and fixed expectations. That sets us in a pattern where if something has to come out a certain way, then, if it doesn't, then we're all upset. We have sudden changes, and that really upsets the apple cart as far as this energy to move the blood and keep the blood quality. You might say, well, my blood work looks good. That's interesting. That means you're alive. Since I've been practicing, it's been 4 times that they've changed the thyroid level to where you have to be 4 times more hypo or hyper before you get a diagnosis. So they're working in a norm, and we are not working in the same exact parameters, okay? So what kind of symptoms it might cause? It might cause hypertension. That's one of the most obvious symptoms, and one that Americans have the most. Causes any kind of female problems or prostate problems for men. Causes problems in the joints and with stiffness and spasms and degeneration, because the blood's not getting there. There's no circulation, there's no energy. It affects your heart and your lung, and it causes numbness and neuropathy, nerve disorders, and even causes you to stumble. That's all a part of this. What else? Well, depression, weight problems, anemia, of course, being overcome by fear, being easily upset, being either a doormat or very offensive to people, dry eyes and glaucoma, eye problems, night vision, nearsighted. These are all symptoms of lack of energy to the blood, which causes inflammation and causes these kind of symptoms, whether they're physical or mental emotional. And we make a product called Free the Spirit, which is you can get as a spray or as a little dram to put a few drops on you. And we're not going to make the same blend, but we will make a couple different blends, and I want to jump right into it. I just want you to understand that the cause of inflammation is what really is behind any kind of illness. Remember when it took the medical community just until recently to figure out that aspirin reduced inflammation? They knew it worked. They didn't really understand how. And it all keeps coming back to inflammation. So that's something we want to avoid and to stay in that balanced section so our body is in tune with everything in your environment. So I'm going to make one that's just basic, and it's floral. I'm going to make one that's very spicy and much more complicated, okay? And there's reasons for this. We're going to start with sandalwood. Here's my 1 ounce bottle. I've got my cap, and it's labeled with a date. So I'm going to put in only sandalwood as my base. If you don't have sandalwood, and it is expensive, you could use frankincense, you could use myrrh, you could use, we're going to use vetiver in the next blend. Any of those would work. We've got 6 drops there. And that's our base note. Sandalwood goes very good with rose, so rose was a choice I could use. If you don't have rose or don't like it, you might use Roman chamomile. I wouldn't mix them together. They don't blend well. Some essential oils just do better by themselves, or if you really want to, if you want it in there for a different reason, that's fine, but if you want it in there for the scent, then I wouldn't mix those two at all. And we're using rose damask. And I'm going to use 15 drops. We could add lemongrass, or we can just keep it with rose. What we're doing so far is working on muscle tone with these essential oils. We're working on increasing circulation, reducing varicosities, varicose veins, helping the joints, reducing spasms, promoting healthy ligaments, and reducing inflammation. So then all we need now, we're going to keep it simple, is a top note or head note. And remember that our citrus are refrigerated. I meant to tell you that time. First one is Litsea. Litsea is very good. It's lemon scented, but it's lemon smelling flowers, and helps with pent up feelings. If you have pent up feelings, something's going on in your body on a physical level. Do you understand that? So, we may get different signals from our body. We may have too much energy one day. Then something else is physically going on that we may need to correct. That's my dog eating a duck foot. So, anyway, she's being quiet. So we're going to have 9 drops of our top note. So I'm going to use 5 drops of Litsea. Oops, almost put it all in there. And bergamot. Bergamot really helps with addiction, unproductive behavior, and that could just be flopping around, not getting anything done. It can help with frustration and anger, especially. So we're going to use 4 drops of that, because those are all signs that there's something going on with inflammation in your body. You may not have thought about it like that before, but I'm hoping you can catch on and understand that. Some people don't really get the connection between, they think, well, if you work on psycho-emotional, then the physical problems will go away. No, once you have physical problems, they're there. You have to work on them physically and maybe work with the emotions too. I mean, if you didn't have emotions involved by then, you do now. Okay, you're frustrated, you're in pain, okay. And on this blend, if we wanted to, we could have replaced one of the Litsea or the bergamot with spearmint. Spearmint works with peripheral circulation, your legs and your arms. So people who are having that kind of problem with their nervous system, that would be a good one to use. Spearmint is very cooling and relaxing. People that use peppermint with and try and get that feeling are going to have a not good feeling with their nervous, the neuropathy, that kind of symptoms. Okay, So I'm just going to put that cap on for right now and move to this one. This one is going to be, your spicy blend is going to be much more complicated. And we're going to use some things like vetiver that we don't always use. I call it the stinker because it's really, it takes a while to smell all that. It hits you in levels. But it's very good for grounding and spreading out the energy. I mean, just think of this as movement going on in your body more than your foot or your this or that, okay, or your symptom. And the vetiver is going to be good, look how dark it is, for spreading that energy. I'm going to put 3 drops in there. That may have been too much, but we want that real heavy presence in our blend. And we're going to add some myrrh, which is also a very earthy scent, to kind of not counteract the vetiver, but kind of take the top off of it so it doesn't just, we don't want to just smell vetiver, okay? So the next thing we're going to use is nutmeg. Now in this blend, we're in our heart note now. That was our base. We're in our heart note. Heart notes are the basis of the blend, so this is going to be a little more complicated. Nutmeg, it moves and it pushes. Your rose blend is going to be relaxing. You may have pent-up feelings. You may be too tense, you know, those kind of things that come up. And so this is the blend you want to go to. But once you want to move that blood and move that energy so the blood moves properly, then you go to nutmeg. And then you go to this spicy blend. We're just going to use a few drops of nutmeg. Remember that nutmeg is excellent for pain. You can overdo it, and if you do, you'll be a little woozy, which is not what we want. Then we're going to use a few drops, 2 drops of black cumin. We haven't used that a lot. It's not real fragrant, but it's potent in a blend as an anti-inflammatory. We need that. We need that to reduce any inflammation. Once you feel the pain, it's already had inflammation there for a while, okay? Possibly for some time. So you want to move that out with the nutmeg. You're moving that energy, old and new. And then lavender goes really well with spicy blends. And spicy blends have a lot of energy in them and movement. Well, here comes chamomile, and it will kind of normalize the whole system in the body. If it's too high, too hyper, or too quiet or hypo, then lavender's going to come and smooth all that out. So you have a better energy playing for moving and driving and getting that energy moving, okay? I put 8 drops of lavender in there. So for right now we've got 12 drops. And that's all I'm going to use because spices, I don't want it to be overwhelming. We could put a drop of cinnamon in there. That'd be fine. We could put a little bit more lavender if you like it, or if you really are having a problem with inflammation and you know it already, use another drop or 2 of black cumin, okay? Black cumin was known in certain cultures to heal everything except aging. God, that didn't work for me, but it does have very potent healing properties in the body at many levels. So now we're going to the high note, or the top note, and we're going to use cardamom. It's another spice, but it's not cooling, but it's smooth, okay? It kind of We don't want bumpy energy. We don't want, spastic energy going through. We want it to flow. We want it really, so it works really well with your lavender to normalize, and now we're getting a good flow. We need 9 drops of our top note. I'm going to use 5 drops. Let me try that again. Okay. Didn't get quite enough out of our cardamom. And then we're just going to top it off with sweet orange. And we just need 4 drops of sweet orange. Sweet orange, I always think of it as the happy essential oil. It makes people happy. It makes people, but that's a good thing in this case. We don't want to be sluggish. We don't want to be hyper. We just want to, take this energy, and it makes us feel good. It's uplifting. It's making our body do what it needs to do. And, the body is an incredible organ and with incredible intelligence. And the less we do to try and control it, probably the better we are. And with aromatherapy, we don't have to worry about that because we take one whiff, and with 1/100th of a second, you have already started making changes in your body. Oh, yeah, that is new. That's nice. So we've got it capped, we've got it dated. You can, for the rose one, you might want to wait up to 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks before you start using it, unless you have the need to use it sooner, I understand, but at least try to wait overnight. And with the spicy one, you can wait 2 weeks, 10 days. That should be enough if you want to get the full impact of all these essential oils actually blending and making an entirely new scent. Then you would wait up to 3 weeks. And in the meantime, you might want to use single essential oils in I have jojoba oil, sweet almond, whatever carrier oil you use to just get an effect if you're just really intense and you need to calm down. Just put a few drops of clary sage and lavender in a bottle and just, give it a little, not a big shake, but a little shake, a little stir there, and then you can put some on your body in certain places. If it's not a nerve situation, if it's more joint, you could use peppermint instead of spearmint. If it's a head problem, because a lot of people get all kinds of migraines and head problems from the same situation of inflammation, you could use spearmint. And if you have to use a single oil just because you're in a hurry, that's okay. But if you want a comprehensive, multi-organ, multi-psycho-emotional effect, then you make blends and you let them steep, sit, marry for up to 3 weeks. I hope you send me your questions. I hope you have fun making these oils. We do have all these essential oils. They're not always on the website, so just email me and I'll make arrangements to get them to you. It's really no problem. It's easier for me sometimes than the website. So I hope we see you next week. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bye-bye.